What song are you going to sing for us today?
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Do you know what movie it's from?
No.
It's from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about, the weather or anything before we get started? Or just push the button, Dad?
Just push the button, Dad.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the new Carganilla online variety entertainment podcast. Leading off, your host, Paul Carganilla.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to COVE Podcast, the podcast that aims to entertain and inspire you through storytelling, music, poetry, and interviews, so much more. I'm your host, Paul Carganilla, and here on episode 5, I am thrilled to introduce you to two very, very special people. And last episode, we got to sit down and enjoy conversation and music with my wife. And today I'm so thrilled to introduce you to our children, Noah and Everly, everyone.
I'm Noah.
Thank you so much for being here, both of you. Noah, how old are you?
I'm 5.
And Everly?
I'm 9.
Well, I know you have very busy lives, and we're so glad you're taking the time to visit with us today for an episode, your first episode of COVE Podcast, because you'll be on many more for years to come, I'm sure.
Exciting.
And, yeah. Well, I'm having you on the show not just because you're my kids and not just because I think you're entertaining, but you're also both working professional entertainers.
Yes.
So we're going to learn a little bit more about that. Of course, the SAG-AFTRA strike is going on, so we can't speak specifically about projects that you have coming up or you've done before, which I'm bummed about because I did want to talk to you about like the first movie you made and things like that. But that just means we'll have to do it in future episodes. Would you be okay with that?
Yes, I'd be fine with that.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Noah, of course, we could talk about commercials. If you're out there and you're hearing his cute little voice. Yeah. He is the curly-headed little broccoli loathing boy in the Visit Las Vegas commercial that's playing everywhere right now. It's on Hulu, it's on national network television, it's in movie theaters.
Yes.
And you might recognize when he's being tucked in by his dad, and his dad's telling him about all the broccoli in Vegas.
The only food that they have is broccoli.
In Las Vegas, the most popular food is broccoli. Yeah, that's the only food. They have broccoli smoothies, and broccoli pancakes, and broccoli ice cream, and broccoli hot dogs. And of course, they have raw, unseasoned broccoli
Daddy?
with stems.
I don't want to go to Las Vegas with you and Mommy tomorrow.
Oh, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to go? It'll be so much fun.
Yes, and so we do something with every guest here on the show, and that's we introduce you by this awesome icebreaker and brain exercise, really, and that is we offer you an opportunity to tell us everything anyone could possibly know about yourself in 60 seconds or less. We'll start with Everly. Since you are the big sister, you can lead by example. Everly Grace, are you ready? Let me get my...
Yes. Don't elbow me.
Let me get my timer up here. And everything about Everly in 60 seconds. Go.
So my name is Everly Carganilla. I'm 9 years old. My birthday is May 20th, 2014. I was born and raised in California. And I love to travel to Hawaii. I've only done it once, but I want to go again. Hopefully we can go again, but hotels in Hawaii are very expensive, especially the ones with like the beach view. But my favorite thing to do with him is to play games outside and to climb the tree. My favorite place to go shopping is probably at Target, because everybody loves Target. Literally everybody loves Target. Okay, I'm probably wrong about that. But my other favorite thing to do with Noah is play big tile in our backyard, because our tiles have they're big and small, and if you jump on the smaller ones, then it's game over and you need to go back to the checkpoint. And I'm in commercials and movies. And I just stopped my writer-director class last Friday. And I want to be a director when I grow up. And I want to travel with my tia and uncle because they have practically been everywhere on the world. Because they have a huge map of the world and they have red stickers for the places they've been, and honestly, it's pretty much covered.
Wow. Anything else anybody should know about you?
My favorite movie is the Mario movie, and my favorite song is probably... Well, it changes, it always changes. It always changes.
Sure.
But my favorite song right now is You're Welcome from Moana. I played it in my brother's room this morning, over and over.
What's your favorite animal?
Probably cats and dogs.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is mac and cheese, and my favorite thing to drink is lemonade.
Can't go wrong there. Anything else you want people to know?
No.
And she clocks in at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Noah, that means it's your turn. You heard your sister's introduction, everything we could learn about her in 60 seconds or less. Are you ready to try it?
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Noah, tell us about yourself, and go.
So, my life is perfect. I like to play with Emily and watch TV, and I'll do that. And my favorite game is Candyland, and Candyland is like game where you have to get to a candy house first. If you get to the candy house first, you win. And I like my life because it has so much things in it, and I could do so much.
What are your favorite things to do?
My favorite things to do is play video games, play with you guys, and then play Big Tile too. My favorite song is Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Do you play any instruments yet?
I play drums and piano.
And what's your favorite TV show or movie?
My favorite TV show is, it all changes. I don't know which one to pick. It's just okay. My favorite cartoon is, I do not remember which one I was gonna pick. Okay.
Do you like Bluey better than Gabby's Dollhouse, or
Bluey?
Bluey,
Yeah. You can't go wrong with that.
I think we covered pretty much everything. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is strawberries.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I wanna ride a motorcycle, but Grandpa said no. That's why I want to be a racer and firefighter.
A race car driver and a firefighter?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Cool.
Well, that was just a little over 2 minutes. Thank you, Noah. And thank you both for joining us today and sharing with us some music and stories about your life. And,
Excited.
well, Everly and I are going to do a few duets today during this episode. We're actually going to throw it back to the first one we ever did together.
Yes.
This was when you were just starting out on piano.
Yeah.
You learned a few chords, and I said, could we do this one together? And we did. What's the song, babe?
This is The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. Some of you are probably familiar with this. Hey, don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out or looked down on.
Try your best. Try everything you can. And don't you worry what they tell themselves when you're away.
It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright. Hey, you know they're all the same. You know you're doing better on your own, so don't buy it.
Just live right now. Yeah, just be yourself. It doesn't matter if that's good enough for someone else.
It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright.
It just takes some time,
Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright. Hey, don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out or looked down on.
do your best. Do everything you can. And don't you worry what the bitter hearts are gonna say. It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright. It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright. Love that song. I love the message of that song.
Yeah.
What does the message of that song say to you?
I think it's like believe in yourself and don't worry what other people say about you.
Yeah. Exactly. What's next? We're going to do Sunflower next, right?
Yeah.
So I love this song because it's actually the first song I played as a duet with my mom. She played harp back when we did it on Polly's online variety show. I was still in my young guitar learning stages, and that's my memories fly back to the song we just did when you were learning piano and I was learning guitar. I played this on my tenor guitar because it only had 4 strings and I was too intimidated to play 6 yet, but it was fun to redo The Middle by Jimmy Eat World with you. And this one is Post Malone's Sunflower from the first Into the Spider-Verse movie.
And then there's... Wait, tell me the order. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man No Way Home, and then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse?
I think No Way Home was the live-action one.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm getting so confused. There was already a lot of Spider-Man movies to begin with, and now they're just making more and more.
Why do they have to?
Yeah. All right. So here's a little Post Malone, Sunflower. Hey, hey, hey. Ooh. Hey, hey. Ooh. Needless to say, I keep it in check. She was all bad, nevertheless. Calling it quits now, baby, I'm a wreck. Crash at my place, baby, you're a wreck. Needless to say, I'm keeping her in check. She was all bad, nevertheless. Calling it quits now, baby, I'm a wreck. Crash at my place, baby, you're a wreck. Thinking in a bad way, losing your grip. Screaming in my face, baby, don't trip. Someone took a big L, don't know how that felt. Looking at you sideways, party on tilt. Ooh, Some things you just can't refuse. She wanna ride like a cruise, and I'm not trying to lose. Then you're left in the dust, unless I stuck by ya. You're the sunflower. I think your love will be too much. You'll be left in the dust, unless I stuck by ya. You're the sunflower. You're the sunflower.
Every time I'm leaving on ya, you don't make it easy, no, no. Wish I could be there for ya. Give me a reason to go. Every time I'm walking out, I can hear you telling me to turn around. Fighting for my trust and you won't back down. Even if we gotta risk it all right now.
I know you're scared of the unknown, and you don't wanna be alone. I know I always come and go, but it's out of my control. You'll be left in the dust, unless I stuck by ya. You're the sunflower. I think your love will be too much. You'll be left in the dust, unless I stuck by ya. You're the sunflower. You're the sunflower. Great job, Everly.
Thank you so much.
And go ahead and take a little break. We're going to bring your brother in here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Noah Carganilla.
Hi.
Welcome.
What song are you going to sing for us today?
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Do you know what movie it's from?
No.
It's from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about the weather or anything before we get started? Or just push the button, Dad?
Just push the button down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Noah Carganilla, Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow, white and why can't I? I'm happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't
Noah Carganilla. Great job, buddy. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
I wanna do it with someone looking at it.
You want to do it with someone looking at it? You mean you want to do it live?
Yeah.
We'll do it at the next live show we do. But that was your podcast premiere. How did it feel?
Good.
You did incredible.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, you gonna go play some video games?
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and tell Everly to come back in.
Okay.
Everly is going to join us in just a moment to play another couple tunes. And oh my gosh, if you are just listening to the podcast, I'm just smiling ear to ear. So proud of that kid. 5 years old and he's already playing piano and singing. And because he loves it, not because we're making him. We've told both of our kids right off the bat, we'll support your acting, we'll support your music. But the second you want to stop acting, doing the Hollywood thing, we will stop. But music, in kids educational growth and their development, I think is so important. And I do plan on having an episode in the future strictly dedicated to the importance of music for development and healing. But just so proud of both of these kids. And I mentioned to the podcasters that this is actually a video too. There is a video version of this. If you're listening and you'd rather watch, you can find us on YouTube at covetube.com. That's covetube.com. All right, let's get Everly back at the keyboard.
I'm back.
Wasn't Noah so good?
Yeah, he was incredible.
And let's do a couple more tunes before we say goodbye to everybody here on your first trip to the podcast.
We'll be back.
What tune are we doing next?
Next we're doing Count on Me by Bruno Mars.
This one is special because it was the first song when we were on lockdown in COVID and we started Polly's online variety show. It's the first song you sang on a Polly's picnic over the virtual universe.
Yeah.
We did it to a karaoke track, of course, but now we're going to perform it on our instruments.
Yes.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. And if you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, and I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. If you're tossing and a turning and I just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. If you ever forget how much you really mean to me, that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah. You can count on me, 'cause I can count on you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Everly Carganilla on piano.
Thank you.
It's the middle. We did some sunflower and accompanying yourself. I mean, I'm accompanying yourself on piano. I'm so proud of you, babe.
Thank you.
You want to come over here and we'll do some Puff the Magic Dragon?
Hi. Yes. Hi, Noah. I'm back.
Welcome back,
I
Noah.
didn't hear you playing the piano.
All right.
Noah, I'm gonna do one last song, okay? Okay.
This will be our last song for this episode. What made you want to sing this song?
Well, I sang it when I was in Pittsburgh doing one of my series, and I couldn't attend the virtual variety shows that we've mentioned a couple times in this podcast. Polly's online variety show. I filmed a video and a song to go with it, and I sent it to him. And then I just thought, well, it's been a really, really long time, and we were thinking about doing another song, but we couldn't decide if we wanted to do that song or not, so we dropped it, and then we replaced it with this beautiful one. It's all equally as beautiful.
And what song is it?
Puff the Magic Dragon. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolly. Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff and brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolly. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolly. Together they would travel on a boat with a billowed sail. Jackie kept a lookout perched on Puff's gigantic tail. Noble kings and princes would bow whene'er they came. Pirate ships would lower their flags when Puff roared out his name. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolly. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolly. A dragon lives forever, but not so little boys. Painted wings and giant rings make way for other toys. One great night it happened, Paper came no more, and Puff, that mighty dragon, he ceased this fearless roar. His bed was bent in sorrow, green scales fell like rain. Puff no longer went to play along the cherry lane without his lifelong friend. Puff could could not be brave. So Puff, that mighty dragon, sadly slipped into his cave. Oh, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
That was beautiful, Everly. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for being a guest on my show for the first time.
I'm so happy for being a guest.
Oh, I can't wait to have you back. Ladies and gentlemen, Everly Carganilla. And big shout out to Noah. And gosh, that was fun.
Yes. Have a great week. Bye. See ya.
Before we conclude this episode, I wanted to share a short story. I found it in a book called Favorite Fairy Tales by Logan Marshall. It's a Slavonic fairy tale, and this story was translated and published by Albert Henry Radislaw in 1890. Albert Henry Radislaw was an English Slavonic scholar. This story is called Intelligence and Luck. Once upon a time, Luck met Intelligence on a garden seat. "Make room for me," said Luck. Intelligent was then as yet inexperienced and didn't know who ought to make room for whom. He said, "Why should I make room for you? You're no better than I." "He's the better man," answered Luck, "who performs most. See you there yon peasant's son who's plowing in the field? Enter into him, and if he gets on better through you than through me, I'll always submissively make way for you whensoever and wheresoever we meet." Intelligence agreed, and entered at once into the plowboy's head. As soon as the plowboy felt that he had intelligence in his head, he began to think, "Why must I follow the plow to the day of my death? I can go somewhere else and make my fortune more easily." He left off plowing, put up the plow, and drove home. "Daddy," says he, "I don't like this peasant's life. I'd rather learn to be a gardener." His father said, "What ails you, Vanek? Have you lost your wits?" However, he bethought himself and said, "Well, if you will, learn, and God be with you. Your brother will be heir to the cottage after me." Vanek lost the cottage, but he didn't care for that, but went and put himself apprentice to the king's gardener. For every little that the gardener showed him, Vanek comprehended ever so much more. Ere long, he didn't even obey the gardener's orders as to how he ought to do anything, but did everything his own way. At first, the gardener was angry, but seeing everything thus getting on better, he was content. "I see that you've more intelligence than I," said he, and henceforth let Vanek garden as he thought fit. In no long space of time, Vanek made the garden so beautiful that the king took great delight in it and frequently walked in it with the queen and with his only daughter. The princess was a very beautiful damsel, but ever since she was 12 years old, she had ceased speaking, and no one ever heard a single word from her. The king was much grieved and caused a proclamation to be made that whoever should bring it to pass that she should speak again should be her husband. Many young kings, princes, and other great lords announced themselves one after the other, but all went away as they had come. No one succeeded in causing her to speak. "Why shouldn't I try my luck?" thought Vanek. "Who knows whether I mayn't succeed in bringing her to answer when I ask her a question?" He at once caused himself to be announced at the palace, and the king and his counselors conducted him into the room where the princess was. The king's daughter had a pretty little dog and was very fond of him because he was so clever, understanding everything that she wanted. When Venek went into the room with the king and his counselors, he made as if he didn't even see the princess, but turned to the dog and said, "I have heard, doggy, that you are very clever, and I come to you for advice. We are 3 companions in travel, a sculptor, a tailor, and myself. Once upon a time, we were going through a forest and were obliged to pass the night in it. To be safe from wolves, we made a fire and agreed to keep watch one after the other. The sculptor kept watch first, and for amusement to kill time, took a log and carved a damsel out of it. When it was finished, he woke the tailor to keep watch in his turn. The tailor, seeing the wooden damsel, asked what it meant. 'As you see,' said the sculptor, 'I was weary and didn't know what to do with myself, so I carved a damsel out of a log. If you find time hang heavy on your hands, you can dress her.' The tailor at once took out his scissors, needle, and thread, cut out the clothes, stitched away, and, when they were ready, dressed the damsel in them. He then called me to come and keep watch. I, too, asked him what the meaning of all this was. 'As you see,' said the tailor, 'the sculptor found time hang heavy on his hands and carved a damsel out of a log, and I, for the same reason, clothed her. If you find time hanging on your hands, you can teach her to speak.' And by morning dawn, I had actually taught her to speak. But in the morning, when my companions woke up, each wanted to possess the damsel. The sculptor said, 'I made her.' The tailor, 'I clothed her.' I, too, maintained my right. Tell me, therefore, doggy, to which of us the damsel belongs?' The dog said nothing. But instead of the dog, the princess replied, 'To whom can she belong but to yourself? What's the good of the sculptor's damsel without life? What's the good of the tailor's dressing without speech? You gave her the best gift, life and speech, and therefore she by right belongs to you.' 'You have passed your own sentence,' said Venek. 'I have given you speech again and a new life, and you therefore by right belong to me.' Then said one of the king's counselors, 'His royal grace will give you plenteous reward for succeeding in unloosing his daughter's tongue, but you cannot have her to wife, as you are of mean lineage.' The king said, 'You are of mean lineage. I will give you a plenteous reward instead of our daughter.' But Venek wouldn't hear of any other reward and said, 'The king promised without any exception that whoever caused his daughter to speak again should be her husband. A king's word is law, and if the king wants others to observe his laws, he must first keep them himself. Therefore, the king must give me his daughter.' 'Seize him and bind him,' shouted the counselor. 'Whoever says the king must do anything offers an insult to his majesty and is worthy of death. May it please your majesty to order this malefactor to be executed with the sword.' The king said, 'Let him be executed.' Venek was immediately bound and led to execution. When they came to the place of execution, Luck was there waiting for him, and said secretly to Intelligence, 'See how this man has got on through you till he has to lose his head? Make way, and let me take your place.' As soon as Luck had entered Venek, the executioner's sword broke against the scaffold, just as if someone had snapped it. And before they brought him another, up rode a trumpeter on horseback from the city, galloping as swift as a bird, trumpeted merrily, and waved a white flag, and after him came the royal carriage for Venek. This is what happened. The princess had told her father at home that Venek had but spoken the truth, and the king's word ought not to be broken. If Venek were of mean lineage, the king could easily make him a prince. The king said, 'You're right. Let him be a prince.' The royal carriage was immediately sent for Venek, and the counselor who had irritated the king against him was executed in his stead. Afterward, when Venek and the princess were going together in a carriage from the wedding, Intelligence happened to be somewhere on the road, and seeing that he couldn't help meeting Luck, bent his head and slipped on one side, just as if cold water had been thrown upon him. And from that time forth it is said that Intelligence has always given a wide berth to Luck whenever he has had to meet him. Hey, thank you sincerely for listening all the way through this episode. Every minute of COVE podcast that you listen to increases the likelihood that we'll someday be featured on Apple Podcasts. Another big help is leaving not just a 5-star rating, but also a written review on the platform. And I want to give a big shout out to listeners Natalie Bird and Arpy's Girl for leaving awesome reviews on Apple Podcasts this week. Thank you. You can find this show on Instagram at CovePod. And we also have a Facebook page you can follow in case you'd like to connect there. And of course, feel free to email me with any thoughts or feedback anytime at covepod@gmail.com. It was so fun to introduce you to my kids on this episode. Tune in next Tuesday. You'll get to meet my friends Amanda Benjamin and Mike and Nicole Pierce. We're going to share some music and chat about saying yes to new adventures. We hope to see you there.